Got a little bit too much sound going here. Aboye, welcome. We're about to start this conversation here. I'm just going to let folks join us. Give us a minute. Just give us a couple of minutes here, folks. I'm just going to give us maybe 2 minutes so we can get critical mass and have one conversation, even though we're having two conversations on different platforms. So welcome. Give us a little bit here. Adupuel, greetings. Noel, how you doing? Adupuel. Faide. That's not good. Hello. I see you all. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Greetings to everyone. Hope you're enjoying it's kind of rainy over here anyway, in the Bay Area. See here. Yeah, just give us a couple minutes. We're at 2 minutes right now. I'm gonna just wait. It's gonna wait just 2 more minutes. So if you need to get some water or, anything like that, just handle it. We're gonna go. I'm gonna give us just 2 more minutes, okay? Okay, you're in the Bay Area also. Yes, it got rainy and cool all of a sudden. Okay, Portland, Oregon. Yeah, nice. Roll call. Where's everybody coming from? But it's all good though. All weather is good weather if you let it be. Boy, show. Fayinde. Enle. See, I got sophisticated here, Fayinde. I got carried away. We got multiple platforms going here. We created a monster. Silver Spring, Maryland. Oh yeah. It's got to be what, 50 degrees? Is it ever getting beyond 50 degrees? Brooklyn, raining. Okay. Hey, Mr. Walker, what's happening, sir? Welcome. Yeah, it's happening. We got good news today. I want to share something really powerful, really significant. We've been cooking for a minute here on the COVID pot, and I think we got a real ready. Our dish is ready now. Okay, our dish is ready. We can get busy and start serving it up. So that's what we hope to do. Okay. Oh, okay. Wow. You just got off work at Kaiser. Wow. I can only imagine what the hospitals must be like. I saw that very lovely nurse. I don't know where she was, but she has her little glasses on. You see where, that's all I saw was that she was a very adorable nurse, and she was saying that people were going to the hospital too much. She's like, if you come in this hospital because you broke your fingernail or because you got a headache or, you know what I mean? You will make me have to stay overnight in this place. I don't want to be here. Don't do that. So I'm sure people were just coming just to say hi, see if she needed, you know what I'm saying, a chicken pot pie or hot cocoa or something. So let's make this official, y'all, and just do this because this is just a precursor to the real conversation that I want to have with the good people. And so, I don't want to keep you too long. Aboye, Aboshisho. Blessings to you wherever you are. Our brief roll call. We got folks on the East Coast. We got folks on the West Coast. We have some here in California. Some will higher up in Oregon, and I'm sure there are folks who will be tuning in to this conversation after the fact from different parts of the country and hopefully from different parts of the world. And what I want to do today is I really I want to help to take advantage of this great opportunity that we have and alleviate some of the anxiety. As you know, we're in the midst of this interesting crisis caused by COVID-19, the coronavirus, and it was great to actually fighting day. I was, really impressed as we were having our study group. I think it was during the study group. You mentioned the our own Odun Ifa, our annual Ifa festival, where we saw Onwanu Shogbe and how Onwanu Shogbe addresses the need for cleanliness and hygiene. And that verse, there is a verse in that Odu that says that you should go through and clean your house, and from back to front. And so I was, great. I was really impressed that you reminded us of that during the study group. It was magnificent because I think maybe a couple of days later, I was talking to my brother Fani Kanche down in Acapulco, and he was telling me the same thing. He says, "Yeah, you know what? We saw Ogbialara for our annual festival, and Ogbialara talks about the spread of disease and how to prevent infectious disease, and I'm pretty sure he cited a verse of airborne disease, and then going back to Oturameji, which was the Ifa that came from Oketashe, which also talks about the need for hygiene and cleanliness. Is very, Oturameji is very high on being tidy and neat and clean to prevent disease. And I think that was very great. And I really look at those as standard, like standard pillars and of affirmation that our people are aware of the things that really matter, right? Which is when things go bad, when things go off track, we refer back to the sacred text. We don't just improvise, we don't just make it up and do what we feel like doing. We refer back to what does Ifa say that we should do under these circumstances, or what did Ifa advise us to do previously that maybe we have lost sight of, okay? And so I was happy that people who are close to me are reminding me of the things that I consider to be most important. So it's important that you surround yourself with people who are going to keep you on track. There's so many verses of Ifa that exemplify that, right? Where the Babalawo is down on his luck, he's going to commit suicide, and another Awo comes along and says, "Hey, well, how about we just cast Ifa one more time," right? And so that's the basics. That's the basics. And if you can't do the basics, you can't do advanced. All right. If you can't do the basics, you can't do advanced. If you can't cast Ifa, make sacrifice, keep observances, you can't do all this other elaborate, make magic and all that kind of stuff. Likewise, if you can't remember what Ifa told you and follow the directions of what Ifa told you, even when you're tempted to do otherwise, the whole world may be telling you to do something different. If you can't stick to what Ifa told you, basically, then you can't do any of the more advanced things. So I don't take that lightly. It's super duper vital that you surround yourself with people who are going to at least remind you of the basics. All right. But today we're in a situation where, we've got to really go beyond the basics. This is not a time where we can just stick to our knitting and keep doing the stuff that we did yesterday and expect to get the same kind of outcomes. Okay, we're in a legitimate global crisis right now. All right, and here we are. Today is the 28th, and we're about 7 straight days into it. All right, we're like 7 days into it, and so it's something that we're really feeling the effect of. And as we go through day after day, There's different kinds of speculation from different sectors of the society about how long will this last, right? How long will we live under quarantine? Okay. And I've seen how there's a few different owls in different places, important owls, high ranking, very influential owls in different parts of the world, Ibadan, Ile-Ife in particular, who have stuck to the basics and they've come out and they've cast Ifa for this. Also in Benin, in Dahomey, I'm not sure if it was Alada or Abome or Wida, but the Babas, the Bokono there have cast Ifa in response to the coronavirus, and they have made their prescriptions. And so I've seen, how people are addressing the situation according to the basic protocol, and that's fantastic, right? But what I want to do is I want to give us some insights into some of the other things that we really need to do. Okay, not only how do we respond to the crisis, but how do we lead in the face of crisis? How do we lead? We as Babalawo, we as Olorisha, how are we going to lead our communities in this circumstance? How are we going to take this situation and be able to look at it 6 months from now, 9 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, and be able to say, yes, we successfully navigated that situation and led our people to a better place in the face of adversity and difficulty. Okay? And so one of my favorite mantras is that divination is not planning. All right? Divination is not planning. Those are very different things. Divination can give you parameters. Divination can show you, give you some idea of what to expect. It can give you a climate check, right? But it's not planning, okay? And in a situation like this, we need to plan, all right? We need to plan. So I got my notes here, so I want to, keep myself on track somewhat. Once we have taken our medicine, once we have done our sacrifices, once we've kept our taboos, then what? How do we go forward? What are we supposed to look forward to, right? The real situation that we're facing, the real thing that I want us to get past is our first reaction to this is, how do I stop the pain? Right? How do I stop the pain? And that's a natural first response. All right? That's a natural first response. But I want you to breathe through that first and foremost. Before we get into the meat of our conversation, I want you to breathe into the pain. I want you to just accept that this is a painful situation. It's difficult. Okay? Because when you rush straight into, it hurts, just make it stop. Well, it might be hurting longer than you think. You'll be spending, half your time freaking out because you're uncomfortable when you could be progressing. You could be transcending that situation so you can think clearly about what's going to happen next. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to relax. I want you to cool out. I want you to breathe into that discomfort. And I want you to accept that right now we're facing a really difficult situation. There's a great story about the young boy who was going through a rite of passage. So he's like, 11, 12 years old. And part of his rite of passage is he's got to go and he's got to take this goat out to the outskirts of town, and he's got to slaughter this goat and gut it and skin it and butcher it, right? And if you've ever heard a goat when they bleat, blah, they sound like the little children, right? They sound like little children, which is probably why they call them kids. So this little boy who's tender and probably has played with goats just as much as he's played with his little friends. Now he's got this knife and he's got this goat and he's got to kill the goat. And as he's, holding the goat and he starts to poke the goat and the goat screams, he's, his heart is so soft that he starts crying. And he's crying, he's crying, he's crying. And an older boy, maybe 19, 20 years old, he sees the boy and he sees that he recognizes he's wearing his traditional, pre-manhood clothing. And he knows what this is. This guy's going through his rite of passage. And he sees the little guy just crying his little eyes out. No one is supposed to talk to him. No one is supposed to intervene. Nobody can help them to do this task. The boy's crying, 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 and the older guy watches him for 5 minutes. He's still crying. He watches him for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and realizes, ooh, this guy is not going to make it. He said, but I can't just let him languish like that. Let me go do something. So he creeps around. He goes up to this young guy, and he says, listen, sometimes all you have to know is that it's a difficult thing to do. Sometimes knowing that it's difficult is enough, right? Which is basically just letting him know that feeling the compassion and the empathy in your heart is enough. Feeling that anxiety, that flutter of your heart, right? Sometimes that's enough, but you still have to do this difficult thing, all right? And that's what maturity is about, but certainly what spiritual maturity is about. So what I want you to do is I want you to understand that right now, this is just characteristically a difficult time. Okay? No amount of sacrifice, no amount of magic, no amount of medicine is going to make this moment less anxious, less painful, less difficult. Okay? You got to accept that this is a difficult moment for the whole world. All right? So don't go into a whole fantasy world where you're going to look at all these readings and those readings and see who Castify next and what did they say and what did they say, and don't get into all that. Okay? If you have an Oluwo, stick with what your Oluwo says. All right? If you don't have an Oluwo, then you follow what I say. All right? But don't go wandering all over the place trying to get the next placebo to make you feel good about this situation. This is a difficult situation. This is not going to be an easy win. We may have to win ugly. We may have to win limping. We may have to win with holes in our shirts and our hats dirty and crooked. Right? That may be how we take this W. But we need to win. Okay? We're not going to win pretending like this is not difficult. All right? So that's the very first thing I want you to do. Relax. Accept that this is a difficult situation. There is no simple remedy. There's no quick fix. We're going to have to ride this out. Okay? That's number one. Number two, in order for us to really get the most value out of our response, okay, even if we Castify, we make, the sacrifice and everything, in order for it to be the most valuable, we have to be able to have a strategy. Okay? We got to have a strategy. We've got to be able to look at, are we at the beginning or the middle of the end, right, of this particular challenge? I used to run track, and different races have different strategies. If you're running the mile, there's a whole different strategy. How you run, the mile is like 4 laps. If you come out in the first lap and you sprint, there's no way you're going to win. There's no way you're going to win that race because there's 4 laps. And these guys are all in great condition. But if you know the psychology of your opponent in the mile, let's say you've got 3 guys in the mile and the other team has got three guys in the mile. You only have 2 real guys who are contenders in the mile. So you put one guy in the race who you call a rabbit. What does the rabbit do? The rabbit comes out, he's just a step ahead of everybody else because everybody knows the first lap of the mile. But you put a rabbit out there who is really an 880 runner. 880 is 2 laps. So he's used to running 2 laps really fast, right? So you put a rabbit out there and he's running at the pace just a little bit slower than he would in 880. So what's he going to do? What's the goal of the rabbit? The goal of the rabbit is to pull one of the other the opponent's team members off his stride, to make him run a little bit faster in those first couple of laps, so that by the time the end comes in, when they run that very last lap, he has no more kick. He used up all of his kick in the first or the second or the third lap, right? That's a strategy. It's a stratagem, because everybody has a strategy that you run the 4 laps at a certain pace. You put a rabbit in there knowing that he will not win the race, only to act as a decoy to pull the other runners into a different rate, right? That's a stratagem. So in order for us to make the best use of the pool of spiritual resources we have in our communities, we need we need to establish a strategy. We need to know what we're trying to do and how we're going to go about accomplishing that thing. Okay? So how you have a strategy is going to be based on your goal. What are we trying to accomplish? Right? Apart from just trying to alleviate the pain, what are we trying to accomplish? What's our goal here? In the face of a crisis like this, what's a good strategic goal for us to accomplish? All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to propose a strategy. I'm going to propose a goal, and then I'm going to give you a strategy. Goal. Firstly, I want you to understand that some people are not going to take a loss. Even though the ships aren't moving and the products aren't going back and forth and the certain stores aren't open and certain kinds of bars and restaurants are closed, certain people aren't going to be able to pay their rent, certain people are going to lose their businesses. Some people are going to come up in this time. Some people are going to make a huge profit in this time. While some people take a huge loss, other people are going to take a huge gain, and they're positioning themselves better and better every single day because they are paying attention to how this whole thing runs. So the example I gave you of a rabbit running the 880, for example, in the stock market, when everything first shut down, the value of the stocks dipped, right? And then when the value of the stocks dipped, what happened? Everybody who was watching paid attention, and they did what? They bought, and they bought, and they bought, and they bought, because it was a huge opportunity. But when they started to buy, then the stocks started to bubble a little bit. There was a little pop, right? But then maybe after a day or two of that little pop, then what happened? Well, the market started to dip again, right? Because the economic situation hasn't changed. This has only been a week. So in a 7-day interval, those of you who follow the stocks, or you know people who do follow the stocks, go back and look and see how it's gone over the last 7 days. Okay? Because it's not a quick fix. This is not going to blow over like that. So that little blip in the stock market, that was like the rabbit. That was like the guy who comes out running real quick in those first couple of laps and makes it look like, whoa, we got to keep up, right? And so people start buying, but then it crashes again. All right. So our strategy has to take into account the time, right? It has to take into account the time. How long is this thing going to last? How long is this going to be a real problem? And if you look and listen, the days are getting longer and longer and longer. All right, they're getting longer. It's going from the end of April to May. Some people are predicting up to 9 months of this situation. So our goal has to be, how are we going to thrive in the face of adversity? No matter what happens, how are we going to thrive? Sure, how do we stay healthy? Wash your hands, practice social distance. If you can do that, then you're going to be fine as far as health is concerned. That's the basics. That's the basics. You do your EDAFA, you make your EBO, you keep the EWO, whatever medicine they prescribe, you take it. That's the basics, right? That's the basics. Wash your hands and practice social distance. That's the basics, right? But let's say the situation persists for as long as 9 months. How are we going to thrive? How are we going to reorganize ourselves, change the way we move, change the way we work, change the way we make money, so that we collectively continue to thrive even in the midst of this new reality? How are we going to do that? That's the first goal. That's the very first goal. We need to define our goal, right? And that's the goal. How do we go? How do we go forward? How do we thrive? How do we prosper in the face of adversity? Okay, that's what I want you to put in mind as the first goal. So when you're having a conversation with people in your house or in your spiritual community, etc., that's what I want you to start the conversation with everybody. Yeah. People can talk about whatever. D Nice had a all night jam session. It was swinging. It was all of this. Erykah Badu got on and she made some Mike's music and da 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 da. Wonderful. That's cute. I love it. But how are we gonna thrive though? How are we gonna continue to make money in the face of this very, very, restrictive economy? Okay. All right, so we got good. Noel gives us, we thrive by focusing on uplifting what is working. Yes, what's working? That is like question number one. What's working right now? What's working right now? So there's some essential businesses that are staying open right now. There are some essential needs. There's some services that are indispensable right now. Those are the places where we need to start looking. How can we fill certain gaps to do what has to be done, to tap into the things that we know people are going to need, and organize ourselves so that we can do that collectively, right? So these are things just to get you started on the conversation, because like I said, this is just the beginning. This is the first phase of a larger process that I'd like us to be engaged in, all right? This is the beginning of multiple conversations that I'd like to have with you on the subject, and I'd like you to start having with other people. We need to start brainstorming what's actually working right now. Who's making money right now? Who's getting paid right now? Who's thriving right now? Who's flourishing right now? Listen, when 9/11 happened, I was working in San Francisco, right? 9/11 happened, and there were all these layoffs, okay? All these layoffs. But because it started with the travel industry. It started with started with the financial industry. All kinds of doubt in the market, and then the travel industry. Nobody was taking planes, right after 9/11. Nobody wanted to get on a plane. They were giving away plane tickets, kind of like what they're doing right now. So all these different industries that were tributaries to the financial district and the travel industry, they all withered up, and they started to die. Okay. But other industries picked up in the wake of that. When the .com thing bust, right? A lot of companies folded. A lot of people went out of business. But every time they would go out of business, they would create another little drop in the real estate, because these people were renting out all kinds of stuff. Though that dropped, and other people came up. Then when the real estate market had its bust, same thing happened. Some people lost their houses. They were upside down in their loans, but some people came up. Some people got paid. In the last, if you can go back 15, 20 years, there's so many economic, problems. Most recently when 2008, when the financial, whatever, the junk bonds that were sold, and Schwab and those guys all went under. And Obama had to bail them out with $700 trillion or something like that. Some people got paid. Right now, the stimulus package, right? The individuals are supposed to get $1,200, but the government is going to give these major corporations, like $500 billion or something like that. That lets you know who's getting paid. Who's getting paid, and when they get paid, how is that money going to trickle down? What are the tributary companies and like services that support all of those different kinds of industries that are going to get paid? They are going to. This is not speculative. Some people are going to get paid hundreds of billions of dollars. we need to tap into that. That's the question we need to be asking Ifa. How do we, in addition to staying healthy, how do we tap into this hundreds of billions of dollars as it starts to come through? Because it is definitely going to happen. Okay? So I want to say all that to set the stage. This is just to get your mind going. The last part I want to share with you before I wrap it up is I want to give you some, let me see, one, two, three, four directives. These are four things that I want you to do. If you're serious about solving the problem, if you want to go rise above superstition, if you want to be doing more than just, you know, business as usual, if you know what I'm saying, you want to get past all that. And I'm not, being trite, but listen, divination, sacrifice, medicine, taboos is not going to influence the global economy, especially if we aren't all focused on changing the global economy. Now, if everybody in the whole world, if all of the devotees all focus, every single one of us goes to our Babalawo and we all cast defile with one question. Okay, well, let's change the global economy. Let's uplift the global economy. And then we all, adhere to the directions. Okay, that might be something. But I know that's not what's happening. Y'all are going out and asking 50 million different questions. And, these people are going this way. The other group of people is going that way. Right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing. Right foot doesn't go what the left foot is doing. Feet are going this way. Head is going that way. You know what I'm saying? It's just chaos. I don't want you to do that. All right? I don't want you to do that. I want to give you four directives. And these four directives are going to help you help other people in your community to create spiritual leadership in the time of uncertainty and crisis. And I'm going to tell you where I'm getting all this from. This is my own stuff. It's my own work, right? The Ola 16 Catalyst Handbook. Everything that I'm going to tell you next is coming from my own work, which is this book, this guide is all about organizing. It's all about creating a cohesive, community-based initiative and organizing people over time around carrying out that initiative. All right. So if you have this book, refer to it. If you don't have this book, you can get it on my website. But everything I'm going to say next is going to come out of my own work. Okay. So, number one, we got to define the problem. All right. We got to define the problem. You got to define the problem in Detroit or LA or Houston, etc. But I'm going to tell you what the problem is. The problem is that you're going to be cut off from your money. Potentially. A lot of people are going to be cut off from their money. That really is the problem. Assuming you don't allow yourself to get sick. If you stay within the confines of cleanliness and social distancing, you probably will not get sick. But apart from that, your industry might fold. Your industry might collapse. I have lived through that several times where I've seen my whole industry just collapse. That could happen. It might not be now, but it could happen. All right. So your industry, wherever you are, is going to lead. This can lead to financial hardship for a lot of people. That's the problem, right? That's the problem. How do I make money? And that ties into the question that I was saying about looking at how the money is going to be redistributed, because we've already seen and heard how it's going to be redistributed. Number two, you got to articulate a visionary goal for your community. What's a visionary goal? A goal has time. It says by June 1st, 2020, everyone in my community will be making $10,000 a month, right? That's a goal. Anything other than that is not a goal. It has time and it has a measurable outcome. So the second thing I want you to do is I want you to think about a visionary goal, which has two elements, time and a measurable outcome. All right? Time and a measurable outcome. That's the second directive that I want you to do. Number three, I want you to start to formulate your team. Okay? I want you to start pulling together your team. Now, earlier this year, toward the end of last year, I made a nice diagram to help you figure out how to formulate your team. It's a Venn diagram with 3 circles. I'll share it like on my Facebook page today as soon as we finish this, and you'll get a chance to see it. but it has skill, motivation, and loyalty. Those are the three variables that you're going to use to formulate your team. Okay. You want people ideally who are highly skilled, highly motivated, highly loyal. But if you got people who are, for example, highly skilled and highly motivated, then you're going to give those people leadership. They're skilled and they're motivated. I mean, they know what they're doing and they want to do it. Give them a leadership position. Give them something to do where they can, coordinate their activities and the activities of others. If you got somebody who's highly skilled and highly loyal, not necessarily highly motivated, that's a person you're going to give them a job in a limited function. You're going to tell them just do this in this area, right? They'll probably be able to pull that off. If you got people who are motivated, highly motivated, and highly loyal, then but they're not very highly skilled, again, that's somebody who you're going to give them ongoing learning opportunities. You're going to allow them to constantly be in a position where they can upgrade, 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 upgrade. If they're motivated and they're loyal, right? If you give them a chance to upgrade, 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 then they're probably going to at least be able to move into a position where they can take specific instructions with very fixed parameters. All right. So that's real quick and dirty. There's a lot more detail and all that, but you want to start filtering your people by those three criteria: highly skilled, highly motivated, highly loyal. That's all you need, right? No, not that I like them, not they got the same kind of bees that I have, not they look good. No, 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 no. Not, they are in the same, clique that I am. I'm a Luku me and they're Luku me and I'm a no, 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 no. Forget all that. Forget all that. You know what I'm saying? The ship is sinking. You need a dude who can patch holes. You need a sailor. You need somebody who can sail, who can, chart the wind and the stars and all that. It don't matter if you like them or not. It doesn't matter if they come from the same clique that you come from. The ship is sailing, it's sinking, man. We're not going to make it. You know what I'm saying? Get serious. Skill, loyalty, motivation. It's all that matters. All right? Once you have that, you'll be able to formulate a team. Who are these team members? What are they going to do? You need somebody who can lead the process, somebody who will take responsibility for contacting everybody, taking the work, figuring out what needs to happen, making sure it gets done. You need somebody who will be a supporter to that person. This is somebody who will help the leader get what needs to get done on time and at an adequate standard. Thirdly, you need a like an elder person, somebody who's more seasoned and well-rounded in life in general, and has contacts with other seasoned people who can help you solve problems that the leader and the supporter just can't figure out. Some things that experience and connections just will do that skill won't. All right. So those are the three main people that you're gonna start tapping into. Okay. And if you're fortunate, then you can also tap into somebody who has got money. Somebody who can either give you money or lend you money at a really great rate, or can provide the kinds of resources that money would provide. Right? They may not be able to give you cash, but they can, allow you to make use of a place at no cost. Okay. So those are your teammates. I'm putting this just in your mind. All right. After that, this is the fourth element that you're going to have to pull together is you need a timeline. All right. So I'm going to say like over the next 8 weeks, this is the timeline that I have in mind. Over the next 8 weeks, we need to be able to look and week after week after week after week, decide, what the benchmarks are going to be for each one of our different groups to hit our visionary goal at the end of that time frame. All right. And so with those, if you have to go back and cast Ifa 10 times, 20 times, or 30 times, or make Ebo 5 times, or get 9 different types of medicine, great. But now you got a context. Ifa is going to be talking about something very specific around what your group is trying to accomplish. Okay. Because Because if you just cast Ifa and you don't have a direction for yourself and for your group, then I'm telling you, like I said, the right hand will be doing one thing, the left hand will be doing something else. Your feet will be going one way and your head will be going in another place. Don't take this lightly, y'all. Groups of people are going to come up. They're already coming up, right? They're already coming up. If you don't think that people in the most prominent upscale churches and mosques and other social institutions are there, if you don't think they're not already planning or strategizing on this, you are in the dark. All right. Don't think that you're just going to be able to go and sit on the mat and cast Ifa and make Ebo for yourself, and that's going to be enough. It's not. It's not. You need a strategy. You need a goal, and you need to join forces with other people who share that same goal. Other people for whom it is equally important that this thing happen or something not happen. That's where you need to be making your alliances right now. All right. So this is key. Now, last thing. Tomorrow is in my temple. Tomorrow is Itadobu. So all of us are going to get together. We will all be setting our intentions for casting Ifa tomorrow. And I'm going to tell you what we're going to cast Ifa for. I'm telling all of my people that we only have one goal. You might have something else that you add on to, as a rider. Great. But everyone set your intentions on one thing for tomorrow. How do we prosper in the face of adversity? That's our only question. If you have a Babalawo, that's the question I want you to pose to your Babalawo and your Ifa on tomorrow. If you don't, then you come with me. You sit down and put your name in the pot. I will tell you how to do it so that you can be a part of this collective effort. We can't, this is like, the analogy, loose fingers, right? What's the power of these loose fingers, right? These loose fingers can't do so much, but you put them together as one fist and they have more force. We need to put our voices together and say one thing and get one answer and follow one pathway forward. That's what I'm proposing for you right now. So if you have a Babalawo, ask him. If you don't, ask me. I will tell you how we can have this conversation tomorrow. Tomorrow. We will cast Ifa tomorrow. All right. And that will be the question we're going to ask Ifa. And then, well, at least for my folks, by Tuesday, everything will be processed. We'll be, have our typical Tuesday night study group. And that's when I'll share all of the teachings, all of the sacrifices. Well, they'll get all the information in print before, but we'll talk about it on Tuesday. All right. So that's the beginning. Today is the 28th. I want to reconvene this conversation in 7 days. So I want to give you all time to go out and do your thing. And then we're going to come back and compare notes in 7 days. All right. Now, I have one group where I'm willing to, the group is closed. If you may have tried to join, I'll let you in. Right. It's the Orisha Lifestyle Academy, not the business page, but Orisha Lifestyle Academy, the group. All right. If you're not a part of the Orisha Lifestyle Academy group, I will let you in this time frame. Otherwise, it's closed. It's only open to my students. But for this moment, I will open it up. But you got to follow one basic instruction to join the group so you can participate in our conversation about this Odu. There's a question at the Orisha Lifestyle Academy. Listen to this closely. The group is called Orisha Lifestyle Academy. To join the group, you have to answer a question. There's only one answer that will allow you to get into the group, and the answer is Freedom 2020. If you don't answer the question, I will not let you in the group. If you put anything else, you put Oromila, you put anything in, I'm not letting you in the group. The only way you can get in the group and participate with the conversation is you answer the question Freedom 2020. Freedom 2020. Freedom 2020. If you don't enter that as the answer to the question in the group, Orisha Lifestyle Academy, I will not let you in the group. All right. So, and that's on Facebook. All right. So that's what's going to happen. Know that 7 days from now, that is April the 4th. April the 4th. we will reconvene, and I want to hear, what happens. I'll give you the all the update about what happened in our conversation, but I'd like to hear from you in between now and then. So I'm gonna pause right there because it's 45 minutes in and I haven't really taken any questions. So I'm gonna just make a little time for you to ask questions. If you got any questions, or you got any comments, or you got some bright ideas or best practices, now's the time for you to weigh in and let me know what you think, and I'd be more than happy to answer questions or respond to any comments. Okay, okay. Okay, I don't see any questions coming in, so that'll be a wrap for here. Thank you all for your time. I look forward to seeing you either in the group or in our conversation next Saturday. Blessings to you all, best of health, and let all good things reside with you and your loved ones. Bye for now. Odabo.